So what we're actually doing today is getting our flower beds ready. We have 4 cut flower garden beds that we have in the garden. 2 of them are mostly set up. One of them just needs to get the jute trellis netting laid down. So we cut some rebar so that we could get that. We were cutting 3-foot pieces, and so we're gonna drive the rebar in about a foot, and then I'm gonna actually, we'll have about 3 or 4 per side of the bed, and then I'll put the netting, use that to keep the netting taut and up so that the netting will support the flowers as they grow, help them, especially if, a rainstorm or windstorm comes through, it doesn't just knock them all down as they get taller. We don't want to lose all our flowers by that. So that's what the jute trellis netting will be for, and the rebar that we were cutting. And then we have 2 out of the 4 beds will have hoops. One of them's already set up, and then this one we also just need to get set up too. So we cut more rebar for that so we could put the rebar into the ground and then put the hoops on either side and help it stay stable. And so far with the first bed we did that with, it's been great. It's actually, can you see it behind me? That bed right there, that's behind me. So that's what we got. We got to get that taken care of. Flower beds, gonna get that in, add that beauty. I'm really excited for the cut flowers, to do a mix of cut flowers, be able to make bouquets, but then also do dried flowers from those. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I need to plant our second sowing of corn. 2 weeks ago, I planted the first sowing, and now I'm gonna do another one because I have 2 different types of corn that I'm planting, and it was recommended that you wait 2 to 3 weeks before you plant, just so that there isn't that cross-pollination if that's not what you're wanting. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish weeding. Actually, I have to finish weeding. I'm mostly done with one bed, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the rebar in and putting up the netting and getting it going. I'm really, really looking forward. Flowers are the thing that I was really wanting to get done. So I'm gonna have black-eyed Susans in here. I will have baby's breath. No, I won't have baby's breath in this one. It'll be black-eyed Susans, cosmos, trying to think, zinnias. I have a couple. I have to look at my plans actually, because now I don't even remember them all. But there are gonna be several different pockets of those that I'll be growing, and I'm excited. Looking forward to it. All right, so now we are putting in the irrigation system for our flower beds here and here. And I just saw you bury some of the line, but then right now, what are you doing?
Well, this 3/4 inch line, you're saying going back to our main 3/4 inch line for our second zone. So I'm just trying to cut into that zone right now so we can add these additional 2 garden beds. So I just laid down the main line for these beds, connecting it to that one, and now I'm just gonna add on these fittings for the drip line. So the little on-off valves that adapt from a 3/4 inch main line to then a 5/8 drip line. So then all I'm doing is I'm punching a hole with this hole punch, and we'll make 3 holes per bed. And
to make 3 lines.
Yeah, for 3 drip lines per bed.
3 drip lines.
Just like we did on all the other ones. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I don't measure them, but each bed's roughly 4 feet apart. So I try to come in a foot, and one in the middle, and that gives me roughly what we need. So here we go. My little measurement here. 1, 2, 3. That's about right. Why not? Nice click noise is what you want. The first one didn't make that noise.
You want to hear the click noise?
Ideally.
But the first one you didn't hear it?
No, I don't know if it matters or not. Anytime you have a click, it makes it seem like it's, it works better. There you go.
Nice. All right, drip line is in. Up next, rebar. How far down are you taking it?
A foot. That's a 2 foot thing.
So this one's 2 feet. You're gonna have it a foot out, and this is for the hoops.
To be honest, I just wait till it gets hard to put down so I know it's in there pretty good.
Well, Brandon gets rebar ready.
What?
I'm trying to undo this.
Good luck. Be very careful how you do it though, because if you're not, it'll take several hours.
How far apart are you placing them?
48.
Awesome. So they're each going to be 4 feet apart, and then starting at the ends. Okay. So you can see the rebar. It's already been put in, and this is just for the hoops. Fucking past one.
Yeah.
How did it feel using your hoop bend, your DIY hoop bender?
Well, funny, this is the one that was my first one I messed up on.
That's the one you messed up on? Yeah.
So should have went to Home Depot and grabbed another one.
That's all right.
But
will it go in okay?
It's not right now. That's what I gotta figure out.
Oh.
Let's see. Go over here and bend it up. Something like that. Wait,
Do you need me to go on the other side?
what are you trying to do?
Never mind. So what's the problem?
Yeah, if I try to go all the way over here, yeah, too big of an angle, I think. Well, maybe I'll just hammer it down.
Oh, too big of an angle compared to this one. And we do have netting that's going to go over
Yeah, but
them.
you see the shape is totally different.
And so that's the concern. So the main concern is if we ever have to cover it, that it wouldn't be covered well.
I mean, that's the main concern, I guess. Right now, my current concern is that it will even fit.
Will what even fit?
This piece on the rebar.
Oh, I got you.
But I think I got it. Come in here. I'm gonna take these ends out.
I just realized that I have our tripod in an anthill. So.
Yeah, it's not very hard to do around here.
Yeah, there's anthills everywhere. All right, let me move this. All right, well, I've got the netting laid out, and it's a lot longer than I anticipated.
Yeah, it's like 80 feet, isn't it?
Was it 80 feet?
Yeah, I think you told me 80 feet.
Oh, why did I buy two?
Well, something, I mean, the bag said something.
'Cause if it's 80 feet, then we only needed one. That's all right. Looks good, though, babe.
That doesn't.
Well, I mean, it's misshapen, but...
What'd you say, Gothic? Is that one of them?
Gothic is one of the styles of
This is not it.
greenhouses I've seen.
No, that's just
Let's just call it the Mason.
whatever.
We'll trademark that.
Yeah, the lean-to. It'll work.
It
Doesn't look pretty.
you know what? It's okay. The flowers that will be around it will be the beauty for us.
Yeah, that's not gonna be hard with this thing. All right.
We all need a little bit of misshapen hoops in our lives.
Is that a personal problem? Or?
That's funny. All right, are you doing the other one for the next hoop?
Yeah, this is the last one for the hoop.
Okay.
And
then we'll get the net up.
yeah, so I usually do I like putting this line around it so they're all, so you can really tell when you get them missing.
All right, and you use the line to help keep everything.
Yeah, just so everything's in a straight. This is nice and straight. We don't have great lines on our beds.
No, we don't.
So you can't have to make it just so the hoops are relatively in line. I mean, minus that one hoop in the middle.
Our misshapen from. Let me get this angle.
Yeah, you see how I've shaped on. Oh, the other ones will look really good.
The other ones look great.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. It'll work. All right, rebar is in, hoops are on. Now we're gonna try to lay out the netting. So we'll see. I'm excited to try this out because I wanted something as much as I can, to be eco-friendly. And I liked the idea of using this instead of plastic. So we're gonna see how it works. Brandon had a good idea as after we had gotten the netting laid out, he was like, why don't you just lay the netting on the ground and then plant in the squares and then raise the netting up? And I realized that that's probably a much more efficient way to get things done. The plant spacing that I'm gonna be doing with this bed right here, all of the plants it's again, from what I was researching and through some books I've been reading and whatnot, it says, 9-inch spacing is good spacing for the different plants that I'll be putting in here. And these squares in each of these squares are about 6 inches by 6 inches. So what I'll be doing is about a square and a half plant, so he had a good idea. I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. And now I'm gonna do that and then raise the netting back up. But we're getting closer to, I'm actually gonna start planting now, so that's good. Here we go. Okay, so this is actually day 2. I started sowing the flower seeds yesterday in one of the beds, did not finish, came back today, finished that bed, and my son helped me out, did some of these labels, or put them together so I can label so I know where all the flowers are. And then I just put the netting down in this bed. I'm gonna sow in here, and I'm just hoping that I can get this all done. I have a little bit of time before we need to do dinner and get off to gymnastics for my little girl. But something that I've been thinking about as I have been doing all this, look right here. Like, you can see in this bed, we have Komatsuna here. We have, what is that over there? We have lettuce, we have arugula, kale, carrots. You might not be able to see all the way down there, but we have a lot of things that are popping up. Our green beans are doing wonderfully. Our pumpkins are coming through. The corn, the first sowing of corn is already coming through. So it's great, and it's really exciting, and it's really hopeful, and I'm like, yes. But it's so, at the same time that I was celebrating that, I was also, as I was putting in each flower, putting on all the flower seeds and everything, I was just like, wow, I have so little control. And there's something beautiful about that reminder of our smallness, and we can create the environment. We can water, provide air and light, which, I don't even control the light, I can plan, but I don't control the sun coming up every day. But that's what we can do. And then the rest is we wait. And even as my tomato plants, I transplanted them. And honestly, I don't know how well they're gonna do. And they were starting to get pretty yellow. So I used some fish emulsion and put those on it today. And I'm like, maybe that'll help, I don't know. But even that, I was just like, you gotta wait. You try, but then you really have to wait and see. And it's just such a vulnerable time. And I think of the people around the world today, and then the people, especially throughout history too, who relied on what they grew. And just the reality that I'm like, people literally, if the harvest was bad or if something went wrong, they didn't eat. Where I live 5 minutes, from a grocery store, and another 20 minutes from Costco, which is like abundance galore, right? So I have so much access, and I'm hoping to have less reliance, but that's the thing. I get to choose to have less reliance on the grocery store. I'm making a choice and trying to use my land for that, for myself and my family and for our community. But there are it's still such a privilege, right? Because I get to choose that. And there are many people that don't. And as I'm going through all of this, I'm just realizing like how, just another layer as to why I think like reliance on the Lord, how gardening forces you to learn that. Reliance on the Lord. I really do not make the sun rise. I don't make it rise and I don't make it set. He does. God does that. I don't do that. And it's so simple, but I think in a time when there's so much that I do get to control and so much that I do get to decide, and it can feel like I am the Lord of my life. And even just being in the garden is reminding me of how much I am not. Parenting also reminds me of that. Parenting actually just reminds me of how much I need to surrender and how little control I actually do have. But yet I still have a lot of responsibility. But I am not the authoritarian of my children. And God is the one who is their Lord and not me. And so I feel like those are two areas that are between gardening and being a parent. I am really humbled all the time. It is good though. It is good, for I really believe in our spaces form us and what we do forms us. And being in the garden already is really forming me into someone who like has to just be okay with not knowing how to do things, but trying anyway. And even as I do get to know things, I've really appreciated gardeners who have been doing this for years, decades, and they're like, yeah, you still are learning and there are things that fail. And that's just really encouraging, because it really just reminds you, again, you have to rely on the Lord. So at least for me, that's how it is over here. But anyway, all right, let me get going. There's my thought for today. I'm gonna try to finish up sowing here, and I'm really looking forward to sharing the corn and pumpkins. I probably won't get to it in a video today, but I will do a video showing some of that progress, because it's marvelous. But as always, thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks for sitting with me in my garden chat moment. But it's an honor to get to share this with you, to get to share the making of Philo, because this garden is about so much more than just us gardening, but it is because we are making a place of beauty and hospitality, and these flowers are to add to that beauty, and the food is to add to be a gift, a way that we can show hospitality to my family, but then to others that we invite in. And in May we have several events that are coming up, and I won't have anything from here that I'll be able to use for those events that we'll be hosting at the property, or on the property, but I'm really thankful just to be able to be using it. And so Philo has so much to offer. So I'm really thankful for the way God is opening up opportunities for us to share it. And I encourage you in that. I encourage you to share what you have, share whatever space you have, whether you're in an apartment, in a city packed with people, or you're out on your own 100 acres, whatever it may be. I just encourage you to remember that the home is for you, but it's also meant to be shared. And so I hope whatever home you have, that you share it with others, that you give of what you have to serve and love others, just like the Lord has done for you and me and us. So anyway, have a great day. Be blessed, my friends. Until next time, happy gardening. I hope that y'all are enjoying wherever it is you are. I hope that you know that you are loved, deeply, deeply loved, and that you have great value and significance. So go and live in that today. Bless you.